ba 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 do 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 dee dee da da dee dee dee. Yes, it's true. It's late and live English for a Wednesday night. It is late and definitely live here in the UK. And at the moment it's raining. Yes, it's raining outside. It's not very nice. It's very wet indeed. But it doesn't matter because I am safe and sound indoors. Hi everybody, this is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you happy? I really hope so. So it is Wednesday late in live English and I am so happy to be here once again. Even though I have been suffering with hay fever once again. Today I have been sneezing and coughing. I went out just for a few moments today to do a little bit of filming for tonight's live stream. And I was coughing and sneezing. My eyes were sore and itchy. It was horrible. So I'm still suffering from hay fever. I have all of my medicine here, all of the medicine that I need to stop me from suffering with the dreaded hay fever. So there you go. You can see all of my medicine. The only problem is if I take these things, I get very sleepy, very drowsy. Tonight I had a lovely sleep. I think I must have slept for about 1 hour and 30 minutes. I had an hour and a half sleep tonight at around about 6:30 and I had the most amazing sleep. I don't know what's going on at the moment. Maybe it's my age, but I've noticed recently that I've started having sleeps, naps during the day. If you take a nap, you have a short sleep. So I have been doing this for the past 2 or 3 weeks now, and I've been going upstairs, lying on the bed, and I've been having very short naps, even though tonight's nap was very long. About 1.5 hours I was asleep on the bed this evening. But it was so nice. I'm not sure. Maybe it's the heat. Maybe it's because it's summer and it's quite warm. Or maybe my hay fever is making me feel very tired. Or maybe it's the medication that I'm taking. So I'm not sure. But recently I've started having lovely afternoon naps. Little sleeps in the afternoon. And I don't know why. I love it. I think I might do this all the time. Whatever time of the year it is, I think I'll be doing it maybe forever. It's 10 minutes past 10 o'clock at night. All of my neighbours are now tucked tight in bed. They are sleeping, but I'm still awake. And of course, it's not just me tonight. We have Mr. Steve coming later on. Yes, Mr. Steve will be here in around about 20 minutes' time.
Did it get colder in here, or is it just me?
I think it's you, Mr. Steve. It's definitely you. I'm pretty sure it's you. Yes, it's definitely Mr. Steve. I have a few things to show you. First of all, the weather today and also tonight was quite nice, but at the moment it's raining outside. But there you can see earlier tonight it was quite nice, even though there was a lot of grey sky above. But you can see there it wasn't too bad. It was dry earlier on, but now it's raining outside. It is raining very heavily at the moment, and there are some storms coming towards the UK at the moment as well. Although I don't think they will be affecting me where I live, but there are some rather nasty storms on the way. Would you like to see the storm that is coming our way? Okay, then, here we go. Wow, I feel like a weatherman suddenly. So here we go. Here is the storm that is on the way at the moment. This is Storm Hector. That's the name it's been given. And there it is heading in during the early hours. It will be heading across the UK early tomorrow morning. That is Storm Hector. That's the name of the storm. But fortunately, it won't be affecting me where I live, but it's going to be a rather nasty storm with winds of up to 70 miles an hour. That's quite windy. So there, shall we have another view? I'm bored with that view. Let's have another view, shall we? There's another view. Oh yes, that looks better. That's more clear. And you can see my house, look. There's my house. Can you see it? It's gone now. So there it is, Storm Hector. It is a very violent storm heading across the UK tonight and into the early hours of tomorrow morning. What about you? Do you ever have stormy weather? Do you have very severe weather conditions? I don't know what it is, but here in the UK, over the past maybe 10 years, we have been getting more severe weather conditions. We used to get strong winds and big storms now and again, but now we seem to get them all the time, even during the summer months, which, as I understand, is very unusual. It's very unusual to get this sort of storm at this time of year, so I don't know what's going on. We had a good response, by the way, to last week's Wednesday Leighton Live. Do you remember? Mr. Steve and myself, we were talking about the environment, and a lot of people did get in touch on the live chat and also via my YouTube channel as well. So thank you very much to those who said they enjoyed the conversation. So I do appreciate that. We didn't plan it. We didn't plan that particular conversation. It just happened. And that's one of the wonderful things about doing something live, is you never know what is going to happen next. Something I know is going to happen later. Mr. Steve will be here. We are also going to take a look at one of our classic moments in the kitchen. Mr. Steve and myself making curry. Tonight, by the way, guess what we had to eat tonight? Can you guess? Can you guess what we had to eat? Well, I will let you have a guess because, of course, we have the live chat. And there it is. So I shouldn't ignore the live chat. There it is. But the big question is, who was first on the live chat tonight? Who was first? Let's have a look, shall we? Pedro Belmont. Oh, congratulations. You were first on the live chat. So well done to you. Belarusia was second. Obaidullah was third. Anna was fourth. And Hild du Livreblog is here as well. Thank you very much for all of your kind messages during the week. I do appreciate them very, very much. Also, Rosa is here, Francisco, Aurora. Here in Brazil, it's freezing. Well, it's quite warm here. It's very warm and very wet. Pedro says, Mr. Duncan, are you sponsored by Adidas or Adidas? No, I'm not. I wish I was. I tell you now, I wish I was. That would be nice, wouldn't it? If anyone from Adidas is watching at the moment, could you please sponsor my live chat? That would be nice, wouldn't it? Mr. Duncan's Leighton live chat, sponsored by Adidas. Very nice. Ingles Vocal says, good evening. Tias is here as well. Hello, Tias. Good morning, Mr. Duncan. And all of my classmates. Hello to you. Stefano is here. Hello, Stefano. Nice to see you here. Also, Andrew. Hello, Andrew. Top of the evening to you, Mr. Duncan. Sadly, I can't join you today because I have to wake up in 6 hours' time. Well, Andrew, as I found out earlier, it is very important that you must get your sleep. So, yes, I understand. Although at the moment, for some reason, I seem to be enjoying sleep a little bit too much. I don't know why. I like taking sleeps during the day now. It's something I never used to do. Gosia is here. Hello, Gosia. Eliana. Hello, Mr. Duncan. It is raining in my city in Brazil. Yes, it would appear that it's quite cold and maybe wet in Brazil at the moment. Gosia says it's raining here. Erkan, watching in Turkey. Hello, Turkey. I've been to Turkey. I've actually visited your country twice. Nasser is here also. Bernardo. Hello from where? Where are you watching, Bernardo? Please tell me. Sergio, you'd better identify the exact thing that causes your allergic reaction. Well, I know what it is. I know exactly what it is. It is actually pollen from grass. So I am allergic to a certain type of pollen, and that is pollen that comes from grass. And at the moment, all of the grass is pollinating. So all of the pollen is being released into the air. And unfortunately, I am allergic. I have an allergy to grass pollen. I am very sensitive to it. So at the moment, the air around here, and don't forget, I live in the countryside. Why did I move to the countryside? Because I have hay fever. I have hay fever. Didn't I think about that before I moved here? I know. Anyone thinking that at the moment, I agree with you. Why did I move to the countryside, knowing that I suffer from hay fever? I don't know why. Very strange indeed. Thanks a lot for your messages. Marshad is here, watching from Iran. Hello to everyone in Iran. Stefano is in Poland. I am in Kosovo, says Nasser. Oh, okay then. A big hello to you and everyone watching in Kosovo. Josephix is here. Also, Tasneem. Hello, Tasneem, watching in the United Arab Emirates. Also, Elizabeth. Wow, so many people tonight on the live chat. Gol Giocco says, hello, Mr. Duncan. I've come back for the best teacher of English on YouTube. Oh, I see. Do you mean me? Oh, thank you very much for that. I'm very pleased to hear that. I'm glad someone still likes my English lessons. I'm very pleased to hear that. Simone, hello from Italy. A big hello to Italy. Of course, the World Cup is about to kick off. If something kicks off, it means it starts. So if something kicks off, or if you have a kick-off, it means you begin something, you start something. So kick off can be used as an idiom or an expression. To kick off, to begin something, to start something. Lydia, oh Lydia, or have you seen Lydia? Lydia the tattooed lady. Tasneem says, hello, Mr. Duncan. I've known you for so long, but this is my first time catching you live. I am completely stoked, very excited. Well, I'm pleased to hear that, Tasneem. Excuse me whilst I take a drink of water for my poor, sore throat. I must admit, I'm very thirsty at the moment because we had pizza tonight and the pizza was very salty. So it's made me very thirsty. Gull says, sorry, Mr. Duncan, I made a mistake in your name. You are very welcome. Oh, don't worry about that. Omar says, hello, Mr. Duncan. I can't sleep afternoon like most other people. I'm very, very, very concerned about this because I seem to need more sleep. And it's a very strange time of the day to actually decide to take a nap in the afternoon. Now, I know a lot of people, in some cultures, people take a sleep during the lunch hour or during the early afternoon. I remember when I was living in China, most people take a sleep. They have a little nap at around about 1 or 1:30. So they have maybe an hour where they just sleep just after lunch. So that happens a lot in China. In fact, if you go into some shops or offices, you will see beds, small beds in the office space where people can just go and take a nap in the afternoon. I'm not joking, and that was in China. I remember that very clearly. 20 minutes ago, I was watching your video and I saw your new stream start. Oh, well, that's lucky for you, Victor, because some people don't get notified. They don't receive a notification when I start my live stream. So thank you very much for that. Pedro says, stay away from salty food. Salt is very dangerous. Yes, too much salt is not good for you. And I know that nowadays a lot of food, especially convenience food, does contain a lot of salt. I want to learn English with people. Who will help me? Erkan? Well, you have come to the right place because everyone here is crazy about English. Sergio says, if you take a sleep in the afternoon, it is called siesta. Yes, siesta or siesta time. So yes, siesta is something that is observed in some countries, normally countries that are very hot, because around lunchtime it gets very hot. So the only thing you should do, or the only thing that people want to do, is sleep. So yes, I think that's a good point. Eliana says many European cities used to close the shops after lunch. We used to do that here. In fact, traditionally, the shops in England would be closed at certain times, and they would open at certain times. For example, normally there would be one day of the week where the shops would close at midday. So they would actually close the shops at 12 o'clock and that's it. They wouldn't open for the rest of the day. They call it half-day closing. And here in Much Wenlock, where I live, we still have it. So on Wednesday, every Wednesday, here in Much Wenlock, many of the shops will close at lunchtime and they won't open again till the next day. So that is something that used to be very common here in the UK and especially in England, but it doesn't happen very often anymore. So we don't tend to do it anymore. Wow, the live chat is so busy. I can't believe how busy it is. It's very busy tonight on the live chat. Tasneem, yes, I love English more than anything, really. Oh, I'm sure there must be something else you like. I'm sure there must be. So yes, in Spain, most of the shops are closed after lunch. So is that because people want to have a sleep? Is that the reason why? Jamelia says having a nap is healthy, according to doctors. Yes, well, this is very strange because I read a report, I think it was last year I read it, and there was a report that was published saying that people who sleep more than they should are actually putting their lives in danger. And some people believe that getting lots of sleep is actually beneficial. So again, like last week, we were talking about health and the benefits of certain food. Well, maybe for some people, they don't need much sleep. But maybe for other people, they need a lot of sleep. So again, I think it varies from one person to another. That's what I think anyway. So yes, oh, okay then, Tasneem has literally said the same thing that I just said. According to doctors, napping in the afternoon can actually kill you. Yes, this is something I read, I think it was a few months ago, last year in fact, that doctors had decided that if you sleep too much, it can actually be bad for your health. But there you go. Sometimes someone will say one thing and then someone else will say the opposite, and it gets very, very confusing. Carlos says the paradigms of medicine are always changing. Yes, the rules of medicine and the things that are believed to be good for you and bad for you are always changing. Thank you, Carlos, for that. I think you are right there, yes. So sometimes we hear one story and then later we will hear another story which seems to contradict or go against the original story. A good example of that, of course, is wine. Wine, alcohol. So some people believe that if you have a little bit of wine every day, it's good for you, whilst other people believe that if you drink wine every day, it's bad for you. It's very confusing. So, what do you think? I've got some really embarrassing photographs to show you later on of me when I was very young. And these are photographs that you've never seen before, coming up later on. Oh, another thing I want to show you. Can I show you my lovely dahlia? Oh, yes. The dahlia is coming along very nicely, thank you very much. In fact, as you can see, there are some little buds coming out now with the flowers starting to emerge, starting to come out. Emerge. That's a great word, by the way. Emerge. To come out. To slowly appear. You emerge. Let's have a closer look at one of the buds. Oh, there it is. Look, there it is. A lovely close-up of the dahlia bud. And you can see that the flower looks, I think it looks purple. See, Steve said that they were red, but I wasn't sure. I thought they were purple, and I think they are actually a sort of purple-red colour. I'm not sure, you see. Okay, let's have another look. Oh, here we go. Here is one that is opened out. So yes, I suppose they are a kind of red colour. So they look red, maybe even wine colour, the colour of wine. So there it is. My first dahlia flower has come out. And as you can see from that video clip, you can see that it hasn't actually opened out completely yet. It hasn't opened out completely. Another thing I want to show you is my lovely rhododendron. I was asked last week about my lovely rhododendron. And there it is. So there it is 2 weeks ago, looking very lovely, with all of the beautiful flowers out in bloom, looking very nice. Would you like to see what it looks like now? And this is what it looks like now. It doesn't look quite as spectacular. It doesn't look quite as attractive as it did before. So there it is. There is my rhododendron, looking very sad and forlorn now that all of the flowers have seeded and all of the petals have fallen off. So there is the rhododendron as it looks right now. It looks a rather sorry sight, doesn't it? I think so. So for those who are asking, there it is. My rhododendron has now finished flowering. Until next year. We have to wait a whole year now before it all appears again. Shall we go into the kitchen? Mr. Steve will be here soon, by the way, but we are going to go into the kitchen to enjoy one of our regular meals. Every single Friday night we have the same meal. And what is that meal? Well, all is about to reveal. By the way, don't go away because we will be live again in a few minutes' time. Oh, hello there. Welcome to my kitchen. It is now Friday night and I am busy here preparing my special Friday night treat. Mr. Steve will be coming down soon to help me, but for now I am here by myself. And can you see what I'm doing? I'm peeling some potatoes. We need to have some potatoes peeled. Peel. It's a very interesting word. The word peel can actually be used in many ways. For example, peel can mean to remove something slowly. For example, you peel the skin from a potato. You peel the potato. Also, peel can be described as removing your clothes slowly. So again, it is something you are taking off very slowly. So you peel your clothes off. Also, the word peel can mean to ring, ding, ding, a bell. The sound of a bell ringing can be described as peel. And of course, the thing that you remove from the potato can also be called peel. So the word peel can be used in many different ways. So as I mentioned, we are having curry tonight. Yes, every Friday night, Mr. Steve and myself, we always have a delicious curry. So Mr. Steve will be joining me very soon here in the kitchen, and between you and me, he will be doing all of the hard work. All I have to do is peel these potatoes. I think some of these potatoes have actually become a little bit rotten. So I'm going to have to be very careful peeling these potatoes. I have to make sure that all of the rotten parts are removed, because of course no one wants to eat rotten potatoes, of course not. Mr. Steve will be joining me a little bit later on the live stream and also here in the kitchen, because Mr. Steve will be cooking the curry. So all I'm doing for now is preparing the meal, preparing the potatoes. But to be honest with you, Mr. Steve will be doing most of the work. We will wait for a few moments for Mr. Steve to come down the stairs and join me here in the kitchen. So as you can see, Mr. Steve has now joined me in the kitchen. So what are we eating tonight, Mr. Steve?
Curry. We're having a curry tonight. So I've got everything that I need laid out here, and it's a strange curry this, because it's my own sort of concoction. Oh. There's a word, concoction.
Concoction.
And
it's Mr. Steve's special mixture, special recipe.
It's a bit of this, a bit of that. So I'm starting off with some red split lentils. There we go. Shall I bring those close to the camera? lentils, because I like lentils in a curry and they're good for you.
Lentils are very good for you.
So this particular curry is going to be a fish curry, but also with lentils as well.
And what style of curry is it, Steve? So this is a particular style of curry.
The style of curry, well, I'll show you that. I'll just put this on first.
Okay then.
Because these take about 20 minutes to cook.
I must say we are enjoying the banging sounds.
So, you know me, I'm always banging away in the kitchen. So I'll just put this onto the stove or the cooker, and we'll get that cooking. So I'm going over here.
So how long do we have to cook the lentils for? How long do they take, Steve?
Right, the lentils take about 20 minutes, which is what I just said.
Oh, I missed that.
Right, so this is what we're having.
Oh, look at this.
We're having Boona style curry.
Yeah, you can give me a bit more, else.
Boona.
Boona style.
Which is...
And the thing I love about this, Steve, is that this tastes as good as a curry that you would have in a restaurant. So if you went to a restaurant and had a Boona, it would taste as good as this stuff in the jar. We're not being sponsored, by the way. Just in case you think we're being sponsored by this company, we're not.
Lloyd Grossman, but should you wish to contact us and ask us to sponsor him, we would be very happily do so, because...
Yes. Just in case Lloyd Grossman is watching and you would like to sponsor my English lessons, please get in touch. Thank you very much.
Well, let's give him another plug, because there's lots of other flavours. That was the Boona, which is essentially a curry based around onions and tomatoes.
Onions and tomatoes.
Well, I think all curries have got onions in, haven't they? But that one's got a lot of tomatoes in. We could also have a Rogan Josh. There we go, a Rogan Josh, which tomatoes and fried onions with ginger and coriander.
Oh,
delicious!
I must admit, there's one thing I love about curries. It's when it has lots of ginger in it. Now, not many people like ginger. Some people hate ginger. And what's the other one, Steve?
The other one is the old favourite, tikka masala. You know, if you're not keen on a strong curry, that's the one to have.
Tikka masala. So that's quite a mild one.
Quite a mild one with lots of cream and yoghurt in it, so it's a bit more fattening than your average curry.
So that particular one isn't very healthy.
Now, I bought these. They were on offer today.
Really?
Yes, they're normally around £2.20 a jar.
Okay.
But they were on offer today for £1.
£1 each?
So I got a dozen of them, 12 of them today. So keep them in there, and so, you know, saving a lot of money. I'll tell you what they used to do. There's only, I'm being very pedantic here. Pedantic, there's another word.
Pedantic means very picky, a person who picks the fine details or the faults out of everything.
When they first brought these curries out years ago, they used to have 425 grams per jar, and then they shrunk the jars down and charged the same price.
Yeah. Well, this happens a lot nowadays. You know, the same thing happens to chocolate bars as well.
Yes.
They keep making chocolate bars or boxes of chocolate smaller and smaller. And every time they do that, they don't reduce the price. So they make the product smaller, but they don't lower the price. They charge exactly the same thing. It really annoys me.
Yes, and the problem is that's not quite enough for two. The jar isn't quite big enough for two, whereas previously it was. So I have to bulk it out with some lentils. I add a bit more of my own curry powder into it. And, well, you'll see what else I add in to turn this from what is... Well, they're already very good, but I add some extras to it to spice it up even more.
So Mr. Steve uses this particular mix, but also he adds his own little magic ingredients as well.
I do. Right, I'm going to keep my eye on those lentils because they boil over very easily.
I've just realised I'm starting to sound like Lloyd Grossman. This is how Lloyd Grossman talks. Hello, my name is Lloyd Grossman.
So I don't think anyone will know.
I don't think anyone will know who Lloyd Grossman is, but anyway, he used to be on television all the time, but nowadays he is a celebrity chef.
Okay, so while those lentils are cooking, I'm going to prepare some other things. So the rice, about right. They're all wet in there for some reason. We'll just rinse the rice with some cold water. I don't know why we do this, but we do. So that goes in here.
So Mr. Steve has just rinsed the rice.
Right, now the potatoes are in there, that threw me. So there we go. Put a bit of water in there, but I like to cook because we like sweet potatoes.
Ah.
There we go.
We really do like sweet potatoes so much.
We like sweet potatoes. I'm just going to do one today.
Just one?
Just one. Oh, the, yes. The lentils, they're very prone to boiling over, the lentils. So I shall just peel this sweet potato. Like so. And I like to cook the sweet potatoes in with the rice rather than cooking them separately, because then you'll retain a lot of the goodness that comes out of it and it saves a saucepan.
Retain. I love that word, retain. If you retain something, you keep it back. You keep it back. You preserve it. You retain.
So I'll give those a little rinse, and then I'll put those in with the rice, like that. And there we go. Oh, yes, there we go. So they're in with the rice, and I'll put those on for a slow cook. And I'm also going to, let's get rid of the rubbish here. I won't do that now. I'm also going to put some extra tomatoes in as well. So I'll wash those. But I'm also going to rinse the tomatoes to get rid of the pesticides, which you might think sounds a bit strange.
This is something that Steve does a lot, actually.
I do a lot.
He does it all the time. So this is something Steve does. He rinses everything, and I mean everything, in vinegar. Even his strawberries, when he has strawberries, he even does it with the strawberries. So he puts the strawberries in vinegar because he thinks it will get rid of all the horrible additives and pesticides that are on the vegetables and also on the fruit.
It does. This is a mixture of water, vinegar and salt, and then I just 5 minutes soak any fruit or vegetable, well, not all fruit and vegetables, but ones that I think are going to be prone to collecting the pesticides, and like strawberries, things like that.
Strawberries,
and I like to wash
tomatoes, strawberries, and do you do it with blackberries, Steve?
Yes, fruit. Any fruit that could have been sprayed.
So most fruit.
Most fruit. I don't bother with, if it's not organic. If it's organic, then I don't bother. But if it's non-organic, I will always rinse it, just in case there are a few pesticides lurking on the outside. So let me get rid of this rubbish.
You might notice here, by the way, that these potatoes, these sweet potatoes, are organic. Can you see on there?
Yes.
Can you see? They are actually organic sweet potatoes.
So was the rice, and so are the lentils. Now let's see how the lentils are doing, because they need a stir. So I've got my wooden spoon, I'm going to give them a stir, so I'm going over here. Right, so the lentils are nicely cooked. So next stage is to add the curry sauce, which is Buna we're going for. So I'll put that in. There. Swill it out with a bit of water, because just to get all the lovely juice out of there. Give it a quick stir. I'm slaving away in the kitchen. Slaving away. Which is an expression often used to describe someone who's working hard in the kitchen. Some garlic granules, because I can't be bothered to buy fresh garlic and cut it up. That is better, but this is a substitute. So I'll add some garlic granules. I will add the fish. So I've got mackerel in spring water, which I've drained, and I'm going to add those in now. Gives us some...
I'll say one thing, Steve, it's very fishy, the smell.
Mackerel is one of the smelliest fish.
It's very smelly.
But in a curry, it's very nice. And it's very healthy because it's got lots of healthy fats in it, mackerel. And we've just got a small tin in there, so we've got some protein. And I shall bring that to the boil. I will add my tomatoes, which are now happily devoid of pesticides.
Devoid. That's a great word. If something is devoid, it is without. It is without it. It is devoid.
There's already a lot of tomatoes in this curry sauce, but I like to add some fresh tomatoes as well, just for a bit of added flavour. So we can leave that to cook. But when it's come to the boil, and just before we serve it, I will add this as a final addition. And it's my favourite. It's garam masala.
Ah, we saw that earlier, because we were earlier we were talking all about samosas. Samosas. At the start of today's live stream, we talked about samosas, and I said that Mr. Steve likes to put that in his baked beans.
I add this to everything. It's absolutely delicious. It's aromatic, spicy. It's not strong in the sense that it's hot. It's just very flavoursome. So you can add this to everything. Oh, I just love the smell of it. So I'm going to add that in about 5 minutes time.
For those who have just joined us, hello, this is Mr. Steve and Mr. Duncan on a Friday night, but for those who are worried that this is not a live stream, don't worry, it is. We will be back live in a few moments. But at the moment we are cooking curry.
If you just want to cook some fish and give it a little bit of flavour, you can just sprinkle this on to fish, to meat, to anything, just to give it a bit of an Indian sort of curry flavour without making it too hot. I love it. And it's lovely in baked beans.
That is one of the problems with curry, because some people don't like it too spicy, but they do like the flavour and the aroma of the spices, but they don't want it too hot. They don't want the curry to burn their mouth out.
Yes, and what makes a curry hot, of course, is the chilli. And that's what makes it very hot. Whereas this is everything, but it doesn't have the chilli in it. So it gives you the flavour without the heat, the spice. So I'm ready to add the garam masala now. Because this is all cooked. The fish is already cooked anyway. The lentils are cooked, so I'm going to add this in. I need a teaspoon.
As we said earlier, Oh.
Here we go.
Here comes the garam masala.
Only a teaspoon, because otherwise you can't taste anything else. Oh, the smell coming off there. It's absolutely... My mouth is watering at the prospect of eating this lentil fish curry. And as I speak, the rice is coming to the boil, and we've got the sweet potatoes in there as well, cooking with them. So that's coming to the boil. So I think that's about it. We're nearly ready to eat. I'll give it 10 minutes. Oh no, I'm going to go upstairs and do my exercises.
Mr. Steve is going upstairs. He almost forgot there. Did you see that? He forgot that he had to go and do his exercises upstairs. Don't worry, you won't see that.
Right, bye for now. I'm back in the studio, or are you going to film us eating this?
We'll just carry on, shall we? So we will be back in a moment at the dinner table. So we will actually be sitting at the dining table ready to eat the meal right now through the wonders of modern editing. So there it is. Our Friday night curry is ready to eat, and now we will return you back to the studio. No, Mr. Steve, that's my potato. We are back live. Yes, I hope you enjoyed that. That was our favourite meal of the week. Well, of course, we have quite a few favourite meals of the week. We like our curries on Friday. We also like to eat salmon on Sunday, and tonight we had pizza. I might actually show you a slice of the pizza a little bit later on. But he's here now. It's Mr. Steve.
Hello. Hello.
Mr. Steve is here again. Mr. Steve is on the web. Mr. Steve is talking to us all live.
With dread. Did you see I rhymed that at the end there? I thought you were going to say a lovely poem, but you didn't.
As you can see, Mr. Steve is very excitable tonight.
I'm not really. Because we've had a big pizza tonight with beans, and I put, of course, the garam masala in the beans.
Garam masala.
I was just watching that then because I had that to everything.
Steve likes to spice all of his food up.
I do. A lot of people say that English food, they describe it as bland. B-L-A-N-D, bland, which basically means it hasn't got spices added to it. So a lot of my friends who are Indian or Caribbean will say, oh, your British food, it's so bland. Can't you put some salt in it or spice it up with something?
You could also say tasteless.
Yes.
It has no flavour, it has no taste.
Compared to a lot of food around the world, British food, well, we're not renowned for having the best culinary expertise, are we?
That's one way of putting it.
Yes. There you go. Somebody, incidentally, it was very interesting. I noticed on the live chat, somebody said, that's not very much rice for two people.
But there's only... no, that's perfect for two people, isn't
I know,
it?
but I was laughing because whenever I go round to friends' houses that they're Indian, Asian, and they cook rice, when English people cook rice for themselves, they cook very small portions.
Yes, but
whereas you go to other people, you get a great pile of rice on your plate. So it's true.
Yes, but when you go to their house, there's probably 7 or 8 or 10 people there.
No, but I think generally, no, it's true. Generally, British people, when they cook rice for themselves, if they don't come from a country where rice is a staple, they tend to cook small portions of it.
What do you mean a staple?
A staple is something like a common food, a basic food, something that people would eat at most meal times.
Quite often, it's something that is easy to cook or easy to digest. So a staple, maybe bread or rice
or potatoes. We would say potatoes in England was a staple. It's something that is very common to eat. So rice is a staple in Asia, for example.
Look what I've got here. This is tonight's. Well, this is what is left of tonight's meal, and there it is. Oh, look at that! Who wants a slice of pizza?
That's why I'm so thirsty, and you are too, Mr. Duncan, because it's very salty and unhealthy.
Look at that! It's unhealthy food, but it's so delicious. So there is tonight.
You said tonight that you would eat pizza every night had you got the chance.
If I had the chance to eat pizza,
excuse me.
If I had the chance to eat pizza every night, I literally would. I would eat it every single night, especially when it tastes as delicious as this.
And it does. That is a very good pizza, I've got to say.
Very nice indeed. So there. Somebody also commented on your saucepans. They said that the saucepans are very small. Let's have a look at the live chat, shall we?
They are small.
Hello to the live chatters. Hello to the live chatters.
Hello. Yes, I love the live chat. Yes, well, there's only 2 of us, so we don't need big saucepans.
Tasneem. I love how all the saucepans they are using are pretty small. Well, there's only 2 of us.
There's only 2 of us.
So for 2 people, we're not that greedy. I know we appear to be very greedy, but we're not that greedy. So yes, we have relatively, I think, average portions of food. So we don't eat too much.
Yes.
I was showing the flowers earlier because the rhododendrons at the moment are looking a bit sad, aren't they, Steve?
Yes, all the petals have fallen off.
Yes.
But that happens, and then you let them fall off, and then from where the old flowers were, the new branches grow for next year's flowers.
Yeah, so a couple of weeks ago, should I say, that this particular flower was looking much brighter. This is what it looked like 2 weeks ago.
Yes. And where those flowers are, the new growth will come for next year. So you've got to be careful not to cut that, because if you cut the old flower heads off, you won't get the new branches for next year.
Yeah, so every year this particular plant has got larger and larger, and this is what it looks like now. a little sad looking.
So where those remains of the flowers are, you'll get the new branches, leaves will form on there, and then you'll get the flowers for next year. So you can't really chop that very much, otherwise you'll affect it for next year.
Yes, so there you go.
Yes.
It's Leighton Live with Mr. Steve and Mr. Duncan. That's me, by the way, and we are as live can be. We're talking about something in particular tonight, aren't we, Steve?
Are we? I don't know.
As I understand, we are.
Is it party?
Party. We are talking about words and phrases connected with party. How often do you go to parties? Do you go to parties very often? Do you like to party? So as you can see, the word party can be used as both a noun and a verb. So you can go to a party and you can have a good time. You can party as a verb. And we'll be talking about that in a moment.
I have here... Oh, it's gone.
Well, you can still say it.
I've got a list of phrases connected with party. So no Googling. Wait for it. And we'll tell you what we've got, and then you can tell us what if you've got any to add to it as well. But yes, and you've got some photographs to show, haven't you, Mr. Duncan?
I have some photographs. Now, I would like to offer a little challenge to those who are out there watching at the moment. And here is a photograph, 2 photographs. I've never shown these photographs to anyone before on the internet or through the internet or on my live streams. So here is the first one, and yes, this is me. This is definitely me. Even Mr. Steve can't. Mr. Steve can't believe that that is me.
You look like a criminal.
Well, I haven't shown it yet.
Oh,
there we are. We're over there. That's us.
Right, okay.
So Steve's already reacting before it's even appeared. So here it is. Here is one of the photographs that has never been seen by anyone except for us. And there I am. That is me, believe it or not, after having one of my long bike rides. So many years ago, I used to ride my bike all over the place. In fact, this is Mr. Steve's bike. This is your bike.
Yeah, it's my old bike. It's now hanging up in the garage.
with flat tyres. So we don't use it anymore. That's a bad sign, isn't it? That's a sign.
I've had it since I was about 16.
Oh, isn't that lovely? Mr. Steve's had that bicycle since he was 16.
Yes, and I've kept it, and I'm going to restore it one day and bring it back to its former glory, as we say, restore the bike, replace the tyres, and put a new chain on.
No.
And new brakes, and I'll be off down the road.
I don't think anyone, I don't think either of us will ever ride that bike ever again.
I promise you I will.
But the big question is, how old was I? How old am I in that picture? Here is another photograph taken around about the same time. You will notice something very unusual about the next photograph. First of all, it doesn't look like me. And the second thing is you will notice some things that are very obvious. There's me, look. That is a passport photograph. I don't think I ever used it for a passport. So
you've got an earring, Mr. Duncan.
Oh, I wanted everyone out there to say that. Oh, it's ruined my fun now. Yes, so that is one thing. Also, what else can you notice there? Not you, Steve. People watching out there. I'm going to have to stress this every single week. Oh, already we have comments on the live chat. 16. Oh, Mr. Steve. Yes, Mr. Steve had that bicycle since he was 16.
You thought that people thought you looked 16.
I thought you were saying I looked 16 there. Well, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yes, I've had it since I was 16, so about 10 years.
20. Sukat says, in that photograph, I am 20 years old. So there it is, 20. Oh,
That one.
Isn't that nice? Thank you very much, Sukat.
Your ears look very big.
Yes, because my hair was very short.
And you've got like a bibble at the front.
Sukat says you look like one of those nice UK pop singers. I like it. Oh, okay, then thank you very much. And
any gigs for Mr. Duncan, Sukat?
Well, not now. Not now. So this was quite a long time ago, but how old was I? It's very self-indulgent, I know.
Very self-indulgent.
But
it's all about you, Mr. Duncan, tonight.
Yes, well, it will be. Well, it is my show. Connell says you look better without glasses, Mr. Duncan. Well, maybe back then.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. I wear these glasses to hide all of the wrinkles and the blemishes of old age. Fernando says 19. Wow. Thank you very much for that. Okay, then.
You've just done this for an ego boost, haven't you, Mr.
I have.
Duncan?
Well, it isn't going to boost.
Ego flattered and boosted.
Wait there a second. Now, if it was a photograph of me now, yes, but you don't show pictures of yourself a long time ago, and for an ego boost, that's the opposite. I mean, last night I was looking at these photographs.
Crying? Were you crying?
I did shed a tear, but not for this reason, for another reason that I'll explain in a moment. So, Mr. Duncan, you are really a Leo. Your show. Yes, it is my show. If Mr. Steve wants to have his own show, you're more than welcome. You look 24 or 25. Thank you, Mika, for that. Yes, you look like a pop singer. Oh, thank you very much. Now this is definitely going to my head. I'm not sure if I look...
Jeff says you look good in tight pants.
Oh, dear. Thank you. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff 1Z.
I'm not quite sure how to take that, but there you go. Take that. Isn't that a pop group? Yes, in this particular picture, I'm wearing my cycling shorts, but this is before it became trendy to do it. So now everyone wears cycling shorts, but this was when very few people wore them. Steve, can I just mention something? Do you remember my white cycling shorts?
I do remember your white cycling shorts.
Do you remember what happened during one of our holidays?
I do remember,
yes. Maybe one week I will show the photograph of me in my white lycra shorts, my white cycling shorts. And all I can say is, well, I might have to censor the picture. I might have to blur part of it out. But I still can't believe I was walking around wearing a pair of white cycling shorts. And that was on holiday in Greece, wasn't it?
It was a little embarrassing.
I certainly wouldn't do it now. Not with my big belly. Definitely not. So yes,
what were you going to say? Anyway, right.
You're funny.
Right.
Funny, Steve. Funny. You look nice and smart, my teacher. Thank you, Iwada, for that. A very nice picture with the red on the side. Oh, thank you very much. Yes, that was taken in one of those little photo machines that you take your passport photos in when you need a passport picture.
Mr. Coco says you look like Forrest Gump.
Well, sometimes I feel like Forrest Gump. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
You've used that as an idiom or a phrase before.
What's that?
Life is like a box of chocolates, when we've been talking about words connected with chocolate.
Yes. Oh, don't get me started.
We've got a big bar of chocolate in the cupboard.
Don't mention chocolate, Steve, because there is some chocolate in the cupboard, and I can smell it from here. I actually know that there is chocolate in the house. I can actually smell it. My nose is very sensitive. Despite my hay fever, I can smell chocolate when it's in the house. I know it's there.
Tasneem says, Mr. Steve, do you have a skin caring routine? Oh, are you saying that my skin is perfect, wrinkle-free, smooth, ageless?
I think it's the bright lights.
No. I think Tasneem is saying that for my age, my skin is soft and beautiful. Actually, my mother's is. My mother's in her 80s, and her skin is very soft and wrinkle-free. I don't have a routine. I do use moisturiser because I have very dry skin, but not an expensive one. I don't really do anything apart from staying out of the sun.
Quite often I forget that Steve's mum is in her 80s. Late 80s. I can't believe it.
And so the secret to young skin is staying out of the sun. I've said it many times and I'll say it again. Stay out of the sun if you want to keep your skin looking young. That's it. That's my secret to beautiful, lovely, soft, smooth, wrinkle-free skin.
Wrinkle-free? I'm not sure about that.
I've got wrinkles around my eyes, laughter lines. I've always had those. There were pictures of me when I was 8 and I had laughter lines. Because I was a very happy child.
Steve has laughter lines. I have no idea where they came from.
It was when I used to laugh when I was younger, but since I met you, I've stopped laughing. So the wrinkles were formed a long time ago.
Okay, then. That's good. So how old was I when this picture was taken? Quite a few people have actually given answers. Some say 20, 19. Well, I'm going to tell you how old I was in this photograph. I was, and you're not going to believe it, I was actually 26.
Well, that looks about right.
26. I know Steve's being sarcastic there. So I was 26 when that photograph was taken.
Had I met you then?
Yes.
I can't remember.
Definitely.
Oh, right. Okay.
I was 26 when this was taken. And so, but a lot of people used to think I was much younger. In fact, when I remember before I met Steve, I used to go drinking with one of my friends, Craig, back in 1984 and 85. So that gives you an idea of my age now. So I used to go drinking, and they would always ask for some identification. So they didn't believe I was over 18, which was annoying, but also quite flattering as well. So yes, I was about 26 when that picture was taken. Apparently it's in the genes. It's genetic.
Partly is, yes. It's partly genetic and partly environmental, which means it's partly what you do. If you smoke and drink and spend a lot of time in the sun, you will age your skin.
As Steve mentioned just. Yes.
And Nicole says, when did we first meet? Well, it was nearly 30 years ago.
Next year.
30 years next year.
Next year it would be 30 years since we met up.
Yes, you don't get sent to prison that long for murder.
No, you don't. Even if you murdered someone tomorrow in the street, you wouldn't get 30 years in prison. So some things still deserve less punishment than what we're going through.
Yes, but there we go. Connell says, but you like nature and going outdoors. Yes, I do, but I always wear a hat when I'm out in the sun. And if we go on long walks, I always wear sun protection cream.
Yes.
I'm a little obsessed with that.
Suntan lotion.
Suntan lotion.
Well, of course, you could call it sunscreen.
Sunscreen is actually very poisonous for the oceans.
Oh,
somebody told me.
Let's not do that again.
Somebody told me last week. Apparently, we know about the coral reefs that are disappearing in the oceans, and apparently, 1 drop of sun cream in a swimming pool, the equivalent amount, is enough to kill coral. So what is in sun cream is probably not very good for you. I wonder whether you're better to have the sun on your skin or the cream, because if it's killing coral, what's it doing if it's being absorbed into your system?
Yes, well, you won't get skin cancer, but you might get something else.
Might get something else, yes. Who knows?
This is like a repeat of last Wednesday.
You look on the bottle on a bottle of sun cream.
Have I gone back in time?
At the list of ingredients in sunscreen, it's massive, and they've got very, very long names, chemical names. I can't believe that that's not being absorbed into your system. I think in 20 years' time, they'll say, sun cream gives you cancer. You're better off just putting a hat on and staying out of the sun that way.
Mr. Steve has got his hat on. Hip, 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 hooray. Mr. Steve has got his hat on and is going to look young forever.
Regular exercise, yes. Drink plenty of water. Lots of things. But the main one is staying out of the sun. I'm sorry to tell you that. If you're sort of middle-aged now and your skin's looking, it's too late. You can't reverse that. You can't reverse the aging effects of the sun.
No.
Because it's cumulative.
Too much sunshine will make you look old and wrinkly, like an old prune.
So if you want to look brown and healthy, just put some fake tan on. That's what I say. People in Australia don't care about skin cancer. That's true.
You could do what Mr. Steve does and just look like a corpse all the time.
Mr. Coke. Well, that's it. People say to me, "Are you ill, Mr. Steve? You're very white." And I say, well, that's just because I haven't been in the sun. Mr. Coco says people in Australia don't care about skin cancer. They don't, but they do have, I believe, one of the highest rates of skin cancer in the world.
Yes, but there are 2 reasons for that. 1, it's a hot country, and 2, most of the towns and cities are by the sea.
And, of course, don't forget that most of the people there aren't the indigenous population, so they've only been there a few hundred years, sent there by the British.
Yeah, they were prisoners.
So they're effectively British people sent to a very hot country.
Can you believe that?
It's hardly surprising they're getting skin cancer.
That was punishment. They were punished So when we had too many convicts, too many prisoners here, we sent them to other places,
Yes.
other colonies, and as punishment, they were sent to Australia. So many of the people that now live in Australia are descendants of criminals. I wish I was joking.
Well, when we say criminals, you were put on a boat 300 years ago, or whenever it was about 300, and sent on a boat. Even if you just say stole a loaf of bread or did very, very minor crimes, you could be deported to Australia. We used to send people to Australia on boats.
So that was just for small things.
I mean, obviously murderers.
So
went there as
what would you
well.
get for murder? They send you on a Caribbean cruise. It's very strange.
Oh, yes,
It doesn't
we
sound
used
like
to do that.
It doesn't sound like punishment to me.
I mean, it could be, just nothing and you were sent there. But hundreds and thousands of people were sent on boats to Australia. But they've got a wonderful life now.
Well, they haven't. They're
They
dead.
haven't, no.
They're dead. No, they haven't. The
Oh.
people sent there haven't.
be careful what I say.
They died in squalor, chained to trees and things. No, I don't. But that's one of the reasons why, of course, Australia is a huge country. It's huge, but most of the towns and cities are around the coast. So it's very tempting to walk around in a T-shirt and shorts all the time. And that's it. That's the basis of all of it. Because it's very tempting just to not wear lots of clothes. You're not going to wear a suit and tie in Australia, are you? Really, you're not going to walk around Sydney in a suit and tie because it's too hot.
Sebum.
See who's
Sebum.
bum. See who's bum.
Sebum. Mr. Coco has mentioned a word, sebum,
Oh,
which
okay.
is a natural oil that's produced by the body that makes your skin moist and oily. It's like a waterproofing chemical that your body naturally has to protect your skin.
Yeah, because
Keep it supple.
I have
supple
noticed that.
and flexible.
I've noticed that sometimes that the skin does feel a little greasy sometimes. But of course, is there a natural way of doing that though? Sorry, an artificial way of doing that?
Well, yes. I mean,
Can you
if
put something on that
moisturizer?
that will reproduce it? But is that as effective?
Probably, yes. I mean, if you've got I've got dry skin, so I do tend to use moisturizer,
He flakes everywhere, flaking his
particularly in
skin.
cold weather.
You can always tell where Mr. Steve is being. There's a trail of skin.
But the sebum, the oil in your skin, won't protect you against the sun. It's not strong enough to do that. Somebody said, what Nicole said, do you have enough vitamin D? Yes, that's very clever, because the main way that we get vitamin D is through exposure to the sun, because when you get ultraviolet light on your skin from the sun, the body produces vitamin D, which is essential for bones, mainly for bones. But you can get quite a lot from diet, and I do take a vitamin D tablet in the winter because everyone in England doesn't get any sun in the winter, and we all get short of vitamin D. Probably we should all be taking vitamin D.
We all become very bendy, and all of our bones break during the winter.
So I do supplement.
We go all bendy because of a lack of vitamin D.
But apparently, you only need to expose about 20% of your body to the sun for 20 minutes a day to get enough vitamin D. So that's not. You don't have to be in the sun for ages. 10, 20 minutes with just your arms and your face is enough to produce all the vitamin D that you need for the day. But 20 minutes day after day all your life, you're going to get wrinkly. Anyway, that's
Lovely.
me. That's my obsession.
That's nice. We were talking about old photographs earlier, and there is something that we mentioned last week, Steve. We mentioned my gran and granddad because we were talking about growing vegetables or growing our own vegetables, and I said that my granddad many years ago had an allotment, a place where people would grow their own vegetables and all sorts of other things. Now, I thought it would be lovely to show you a photograph. Would you like to see a photograph of my lovely granddad and grandmother?
Go on.
On my father's side.
We'll continue feeding your ego tonight.
Well, this is not about my ego.
Well, it's all about you.
Well, yeah. Well, I return you to the comment I made earlier. It's my show. Get your own show, Steve.
So this is what you're going to look like, is it, in about 10 years' time? Mr. Duncan.
Which one? The one on the right?
I don't know.
No. Joking aside, Steve. So there is my lovely granddad and grandmother. And sadly, both no longer with us. I don't know what Steve is doing.
I'm itching.
He's got his hand down his shorts.
I'm itching because I've been in the garden and because it's now summer, all the biting insects have come out.
You're fidgeting.
I know.
He won't stay still.
I've been bitten. I'm also, look. A bite.
Yes,
Can you see that? A bite.
I've got one as well. Look, there's my bite. Yeah, yeah.
I've got more bites than you. I've got them on my legs.
Yeah. Well, there's more to bite into. So my lovely granddad, there he is, and grandmother as well. Sadly, both of them no longer with us. But my granddad, his name was Ernest. Isn't that a great name? You don't actually hear that name used anymore. Ernest.
Well, Ernie.
Ernie. That's what everyone. Yeah, everyone called him Ernie. And my grandmother's name was Dolly. But her real name was Mary. But everyone called her Dolly because
she was such a glamour girl, was she?
No, wrong. Because she used to always do the washing. So because there were kids and a husband to take care of, she was always doing the washing. And in those days, you didn't have a washing machine. You had to do it all by hand. And there's a special device that you can use made of wood. And you splosh it up and down, and it mixes all of the washing together. It's a bit like a washing machine going round and round, but you do it by hand with a big wooden thing. And the wooden thing is called a dolly.
Oh, right.
Dolly.
I didn't know that.
So that's how she got her nickname, because whenever anyone saw her, she was always doing the washing, and she had the dolly in her hand, always doing it. And the nickname became her actual name. So everyone called her Dolly. And I miss these two people so much. I used to go and stay with them. My granddad was really, really funny, especially after he had a few drinks. He would sing songs. We would have family reunions at Christmas, and my nan would always sit in the window of their house, commenting on what was going on in the street
while she was washing.
No, this was later in life.
Okay.
I don't know why you're being so mean to me.
I'm not being mean.
I'm sharing a lovely moment of time, and look at Steve being so facetious.
I'm not being facetious.
Facetious Steve.
I'm just commenting. I'm just trying to, I thought you were going to start to cry, you see.
No.
I could feel a tear. Your voice was wobbling. I thought any minute now Mr. Duncan's going to start crying.
Are they your mother's parents? No, they are my father's parents, on my father's side. So yes, they are my father's parents. My grandmother, by the way, lived until she was 94. And that's really the conversation we had last week as well. So yes, my lovely granddad and grandmother. So there. We are going in 5 minutes. We have
talked about
this is almost like
we'll save that for Sunday, can't we?
We'll just have to add it to the list of things. So we've got set and party. So on Sunday, because Mr. Steve will be joining us on Sunday, you are back with us as usual on Sunday. Isn't that nice?
For the foreseeable future, which means for a long time.
For the foreseeable future.
The foreseeable future, as far as we can see.
Yes. Into the future.
The next few months, I will be there on Sunday.
Yes.
Unless something crops up. But we can't see anything in the future that would stop me being here on a Sunday.
I can see into the future. I can see that in 2026, America, the USA, Mexico and Canada are going to host the World Cup. Have you heard that?
So when was that announced?
Today.
Right.
Today on planet Earth.
I mean, they're all
Yes, they're all going to do it together for the first time. It's going to be a joint thing. So the USA Canada and Mexico. This should be very interesting.
Let's hope they've worked out a trade agreement by then, because that's something they're having problems with at the moment.
Well,
Canada and
well, fortunately, 2026 is a long way off.
yes,
And apparently, the 2050 World Cup is going to be hosted by some Martians that live on the moon. So yes, so they've put a bid in for the 2050 World Cup. See what I did there?
around to see that one.
Did you see the big...
We're not going to Mars, by the way.
Did you be... I don't care about going to Mars. Did you see the big summit? Steve, did you blink and miss it?
The big summit? Yes, you mean Mount Everest? Oh no, the other summit. You see, how clever I was there. I use another use of the word summit.
You mean that word?
Have you already talked about that?
No.
Summit meaning the top of a mountain,
It's
the
there for-
highest point.
It's there from Monday. I did this on Monday.
Well, I wasn't there. I was singing.
I know. I wondered why it was a good show.
The summit, yes, a gathering of people to talk about important events.
Yes.
Yes, well, there's been two, hasn't there? There was the G7 summit, which was when Trump and I think it was Canada and a few of the European countries all got together to talk about trade.
Canada. Well, who's Canada's president?
Trudeau?
Yes, it's Trudeau. It's not Pierre, though. It's Justin.
Justin Trudeau, there we go.
I love the fact that there is a president somewhere in the world called Justin. If there was ever an unlikely name...
What's wrong with that name?
Justin, it's very sort of, it's not very strong, is it? Justin.
Justin. Depends how you say it.
Justin. It's very syllabic. Justin.
But so he met with some of the European leaders and basically told them, tough. There are, you're going to have to pay large amounts. We're going to have sanctions and not sanctions. You're going to impose
tariffs.
Tariffs. That's the word I'm looking for on our goods coming into our country. So like it or lump it. And then he went off to meet the North Korean leader, which was. Quite frankly, that was a pretty unprecedented event.
Is he president or is it what do you actually address him as? Is it President Un?
Dictator Un.
A dictator?
I don't know.
I know, because I've never heard anyone actually address him as his actual title.
Supreme Leader?
Supreme Leader Un?
I don't know.
Is that it? Is that what they refer to him as?
I don't think we've got many North Korean people watching, have we?
Is anyone watching in North Korea?
If you are...
You're probably watching us on the inside of a baked bean tin at the moment.
If you are, look out of the window to make sure nobody's watching.
No, I'm hoping that they are watching. Not that they're not watching.
No, that they're being watching us.
Oh, they're watching. They're being watched. I'm pretty sure of it. But I hope we're being watched.
Maybe somebody in South Korea watches us and they could tell us.
Actually, that's the thing that surprised me. I was surprised that President Moon wasn't there. I thought all three were getting together. So, yeah,
that's happening later.
Okay, then. Anyway, here's an exclusive picture.
It was amazing.
Here's an exclusive picture from the summit handshake. And look how small. Look how small his hand looks.
Is that a real picture?
Kim Jong-un's hand is so tiny and Donald Trump's hand looks huge.
Blimey. Is that that's an actual picture? Has it been doctored?
That's actually Donald. Now, apparently, that's the only reason why Donald Trump wanted to meet him, so his hands would look big. Apparently, I spent nearly an hour and a half on Photoshop making that picture just for that joke. Did you?
So it's not a real picture.
Did you enjoy? You think that's a real picture, do you?
Well, I don't know.
You actually think that's a real picture of Donald Trump and Kim Jong Un?
Well, I don't know.
Well, the hand is clearly a child's.
Well, he is a lot smaller than Donald Trump, so he might be his hand. I don't know. Mr. Duncan, you're joking with us, trying to make me look like a fool.
I just thought you'd realise it was a joke.
No.
Oh, so you actually thought that's Kim Jong?
Well, I saw the flags in the background.
I know.
I thought,
That's my Photoshop skills.
Well, of course it can't be because they were wearing suits, so they didn't have bare
No,
hands,
well,
did
that's the thing that I was hoping you'd notice.
Well, I didn't. But yes, I thought it was amazing, and let's hope some peace comes of this summit.
Yes,
Let's
peace.
really hope that at last we get some peace and some resolution of the Korean situation.
Even though it's happened 6 times before. It's actually happened 6 times before. This same document, it's just the same document that they've signed 6 times, count them, 6 before, and nothing came of it. It all went back to, oh, we don't like you, we don't like you either, we don't like you, we don't like you either.
Oh, look, Ramadan's finished. Ramadan, according to Abdimalik Muhammad. So it's finished, has it now? Right, so that's it. Oh, how lovely. You don't have to, you can eat when you like.
We'll be back on Sunday. What time?
2 p.m.
2 p.m. UK time.
I might be 3 p.m. You'll certainly be 2 p.m.
You'll be about 3 o'clock, Steve.
And we'll be talking about uses of the word set and party.
I'm pretty sure we will be talking about party expressions. So now you have a lot of time to find some of your own. So maybe
you see, look, I've got loads here. Look, loads of them.
So we can share the information on Sunday from 2 o'clock UK time. It's just after 11:30.
You're giving the game away.
11:30.
Revealing information ahead of time.
So we're having 2 conversations here. Who are you talking? Who are you talking to?
Yes, they do that. Look at Mr. Coco. He says, yes, the Americans, they always do this power thing.
Power thing.
Don't they? And the other thing the Americans do, have you noticed? Or anyone trying to assert their dominance over other people, that there's certain things that they do, aren't there? I mean, they stand like this.
Like what? They can't see it.
I know.
There you go.
They stand like that, make themselves look big, far apart.
What's far apart?
That's it. Dominant stance. I'm bigger than you. It's like a peacock putting his feathers out. And so when they shake hands, the other thing, if you shake hands, if you want to assert dominance over somebody, just go to shake hands with me. You go down like that. So I'm dominant.
Ow. That's actually quite painful.
And then it's the hand on like that. Yes. I'm dominant.
What about the kissing? Because Donald and Macron were kissing. They were.
Well, that's because he's French, isn't he, Macron? And that's what the French do.
Ooh.
So I wonder if you assert dominance in France in the way you kiss another man when you greet them. I wonder if there's a way of saying, yes, I'm dominant because I've gone in with a really powerful kiss.
Maybe you just stick your tongue down his throat.
Maybe that's it.
That's it. That's what Donald Trump wanted to do to Macron, I think. I think he literally wanted to give him a French kiss.
Right.
I'm going to be laughing for the rest of the evening because Mr. Steve thought this was a real photograph.
Oh.
I must admit,
Eliana said she can't join us on Sunday anymore because she's got to work.
What are you doing?
Yes, that's another book.
No.
Eliana can't join us.
Eliana, I can't join you on Sunday anymore. I have another meeting every Sunday at that time. Oh, Eliana. But the good news is that you can watch it again afterwards. So there.
You can, and you can still join us on a Wednesday.
And hopefully also later there will be subtitles. Of course, with the late one, the subtitles will be added much later.
Ah, look. Jeff's got going already.
Because I'm going to bed soon. It's 25 to midnight.
Party animal. Jeff's already got things going. He's already... Keep going. Jeff has already...
I think Steve stopped working. I've got to wind him up. It's like a toy.
Oh, dear. There we go, Jeff. Party animal. He has already brought something to the party. We'll talk more about that on Sunday.
Okay, yes. Don't give too many away, or we'll have nothing to talk about.
Is Jeff going to be a party animal this weekend?
No, but we are going to party now with a bar of chocolate.
Are we?
I can smell it.
Let's save it for tomorrow night. It's too late to eat chocolate now.
It's
I'll
never
never
too.
sleep.
It's never too late to eat chocolate. I've got pizza here as well.
Pizza and chocolate, the perfect combination.
They should make chocolate pizza. They really should.
Well, we could make it. Let's melt the chocolate, pour it over the pizza, and eat it.
Sounds great. It sounds good to me. I like the sound of that completely, 100%.
Very good for your indigestion.
People who are desperate to show their dominance are nothing but weak people.
Exactly. I agree.
Are we going to talk
Yes, because if you're a strong person and confident, you don't need to do that. They're sort of mind games. Well, not mind games, but they're sort of... Yes, it's annoying when people do that.
I like Carlos says the North Korean leader resembles a character from James Bond. Yes, he should be sitting in a big chair stroking a pussy.
There's no answer to that.
You know what I'm on about.
Yes, but let's hope that that they really do see sense, and
they won't. They'll all be falling out and squabbling like children in about 6 weeks' time. And there you go. That's my take on it.
Enjoy life while you can before they start setting off all the nuclear weapons.
I don't think it'll come to that.
And on that note, happy note,
this is how you're sending my viewers to bed and to the rest of their day, is by talking about nuclear annihilation. Thank you, Steve. Well, that's my buzz.
It's going to happen one day.
Thanks.
Right. So look at that. You've ruined the party thing now. Everyone's coming up with their own suggestions.
Well, it's okay.
Use of the word
we just
party.
pretend we didn't see them.
We will. We'll just do it anyway.
I'm not seeing them. I'm not looking at all. I can't see them. They're
Talking
not there.
of a party.
I've got my eyes shut. I've closed my eyes now. I can't see it. Mr. Coco, see you later. Ricardo, we're going now, by the way.
Yes, it's Father's Day, Ricardo says. It's Father's Day on Saturday in the UK.
On Saturday?
It's the 16th on...
that doesn't sound right. Isn't
Father's Day? I'm sure it's this Saturday.
Isn't Father's Day always on a Sunday like Mother's Day?
Perhaps it's Sunday then.
That doesn't sound... Yes, I don't think we just have random days, do we, for Father's Day?
But it's this weekend.
It's this weekend.
Maybe it's
Sunday.
Maybe it's Sunday then.
So Sunday is Father's Day, and we'll be here. So fortunately...
Yes.
Fortunately, I'm not a father, and Steve is not a father.
Not that I know of.
Not as far as he's aware.
As far as I'm aware, I am not a father. And unless a miracle has occurred, then I am definitely not a father. There is one possibility, but we won't go into that.
Well, what a bombshell to end the show with.
Ooh, my secret love child.
Mr. Steve might have a secret love child. There's a little bastard Steve wandering around somewhere.
That's a horrible word to use. This Sunday in Argentina is Father's Day, so it must be...
It's not on the screen.
Yeah, there we go.
There it is. It's on the screen now. It's what, sorry?
Thank you, Nicole. I think I would have been a good father, but I'm too old now. And I'd like to have a baby, actually, but not have to have anything to do with bringing it up.
Oh, dear. Why don't you adopt?
I don't want to adopt.
So I would just
adopt and then give it to somebody else.
See what I would do. I just cut out all of the childhood stuff and just adopt a 21-year-old. I'd just say, look, have you got any orphans that don't need taking care of or money spending on them? They won't scream in my ears.
21?
Constantly ask me for things.
I think they're just getting into their stride at 21.
I want to skip past all of that nonsense, to be honest.
Hassan from Syria is watching.
Okay.
And he says it's a beautiful channel and he's a new subscriber.
Hello, Hassan, and welcome.
Wonderful. Welcome.
Welcome.
Before your middle 70s, you can be father. Yes, you can. Exactly.
Yes.
I'll freeze some. No,
Oh, here we go again.
no, I won't say it because Mr. Duncan doesn't like me to use that word.
Steve will be using this bottle for something later, and then he'll take it to somewhere to be frozen, and then he's going to have his own small island with lots of little
Disgusting,
little
Duncan.
Mr. Steves walking around.
Yes, exactly. Jeff says that's when they want money at 21.
Oh,
I mean, it's better to have them when they're young. They don't
know.
cost much as a baby.
No, I think they're more trouble
when
when
they
they're
get
young.
into 21, they want a new car.
Yes, but they're always going out.
Yeah, but that's it. They want money to go out. They
No,
want a car.
That's the first.
They want you to give them money towards the rent. They want to go off to college.
The first thing I will sort out, I will have some rules. And one of the rules is you've got to get yourself a job. I'm only adopting you as long as you have a good job, a steady job, a good income, and maybe, you know, when I'm sort of really, really old and I'm sort of weeing down my leg and dribbling from my mouth, my sort of wealthy adopted son can sort of, just sort of take care of me. That sounds fun.
Nora is late to the party, but as we could say, but it doesn't matter because you can watch it all again on the Play Again.
Play Again, you can
Andy
watch it.
Norguda.
You can watch it later, and also there will be some subtitles, hopefully. Shall we go now?
We'll
Because
go, yes.
we were going 10 minutes ago.
I've got to work in the morning.
Yes. Well, I was trying to end the show at past. But you love starting new subjects, and then that's it. Once we get into it, that's it. Everyone gets so excited, including Mr. Steve.
I see the comments keep coming up, and I keep wanting to comment on the comments.
Okay. Well, you can comment on one more comment.
Mohammed Salah. Who's Mohammed Salah?
Who?
Fan then, yes. Abdullah Malik says, you must be a Mohammed Salah fan.
Yes, he's a football player in the UK.
I was going to say, is he a football player?
He's one of the hottest football players at the moment. He has a huge fan club.
Oh, right, okay. I'll have to look him up. Yes. Well, the news that all I know about the World Cup today is that Spain sacked their manager or coach because he's got a job with Real Madrid.
Real Madrid.
And,
it's amazing how we
didn't tell anyone or something.
It looks as if we both know what we're talking about when it comes to football. We know nothing about football. That's it. We have just exhausted everything we know about football. That's it. We have nothing else to say about football. That's all Steve knows, and that's all I know. That's it.
I went to see Real Madrid when I was in Madrid many years ago. I mean, I was forced to go to this football match. I didn't want to go. It was 0-0. It's a very boring game. And I think I mentioned it before because it was so clean. I've never known such a clean city as Madrid. It was filthy when we went, all the litter outside because people were eating burgers. And when we came out, it was spotlessly clean.
So
I was
what?
very impressed.
During the match?
During the match, they cleaned everything.
So while the match was taking place, there were people outside just cleaning the streets.
Yes, because when we came out, it was spotless. You could have eaten off the streets, and I noticed. I was only there about 3 days, but they were always cleaning the streets. It was just so clean everywhere. I was very impressed.
Clean. So there it is. Madrid's new strap line for next year when they have their tourist sort of promotion. Madrid, come to Madrid. It's clean. How's that?
Ooh. Yes, it is.
You can eat your dinner off our roads.
Oh, look, so many more comments coming in, but we've got to go.
We've got to go because if we don't go, we'll be here till tomorrow morning, and then Mr. Steve will be all grumpy tomorrow because he hasn't got enough sleep. Why football players have fame? They only just kick a ball around.
Exactly.
Well, that's what Steve thinks.
I agree.
Yes, they do get a lot of money. Some of them get £500,000 a week.
You see that I know people say, well, that's
a lot of money.
That's a lot of money for
for
what is essentially something you enjoy doing, because they will say to nurses don't get paid very much, do they?
But then we couldn't afford to pay them that much because the National Health Service, the NHS, wouldn't be able to do it.
But they say to nurses and teachers who traditionally don't get paid very much money, for the amount of work that they do. The excuse always is, yes, but it's a vocation. You want to do that job. You've chosen to be a teacher because you want to be a teacher. You've chosen to be a nurse. Therefore, don't expect to be paid well to do it. But if you're a footballer, I mean, you love playing football. It's like a hobby almost, and you make lots of money. I know you're good at it. You've got to be very good to be at the top, and only the very rarest and most talented people get to the top. But I don't think anyone's worth £500,000 a week. What they should do is they should be paid £500,000 a week and then give 80% of it to charity.
Yes, I don't think that's ever going to
Instead
happen.
of spending all that money on big expensive cars and £1 million houses.
You know what? Sometimes life is just unfair.
Am I jealous? Yes.
It's just
No, I'm not.
life is just unfair sometimes. Sometimes you can't have what you want. I mean, I don't even get paid anything for doing this, and yet I do it all the time. I'm definitely not on £500,000 a week doing this. Trust me. Trust me.
I wish you were, Mr. Duncan.
I wish I was.
I could get that Ferrari sports car I've always dreamed about.
That's nice.
Oh, actually, it would be Aston Martin.
Okay,
There we go.
I'm glad you corrected that, or else we'd all be worrying about it for the rest of the night.
Eliana, yes, it is boring hearing about football all the time.
Not on the screen.
And we're not going to talk about football,
No, that's
apart
it.
from when it has some benefit in helping people to learn English.
Yes. I tell you what we're going to talk about now. We're going to talk about
Going to bed and sleeping, having chocolate.
eating some chocolate. I've got to eat some chocolate. I can't end my live stream and then just go straight to sleep. I have to have some chocolate in between.
Yes, Eliana, football isn't a sport.
It's not on the screen.
Football isn't a sport. But what annoys me is that football now is all the managers for all these football teams. Football to me is, this is going to be very controversial. Shall I end with something very controversial?
Well, you've just talked about North Korea declaring nuclear war on the planet. So it can't.
I didn't say that.
It can't get any worse.
I didn't say that, Mr. Duncan.
It can't get any worse.
You're misquoting me. But to me, football. Anyway, no, I won't say it. Let's end on a nice high and say goodbye to everybody. Sleep well, and if you're off to work, which some of you will be because of the time difference.
Oh, sorry. You said let's end on a nice high. Oh, I see. I misunderstood you.
Are these your tablets for your
It's my hay fever tablets.
Oh, let's have a look.
These make you feel very, very, very pleasant and very sleepy and woozy.
May cause drowsiness.
May cause unusual happiness. So maybe Mr. Steve could take them.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll see you all on Sunday.
See you on Sunday.
Oh, you want me to go first?
Mr. Steve is going now. We'll see you later, Steve.
Bye-bye. See you on Sunday.
Yeah. Do. So it is the end of tonight's live stream. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope it's been interesting. Maybe in places it wasn't, and maybe in some places it was. I will see you on Sunday at 2 p.m. UK time. Let's say good night to those on the live chat very quickly. Good night to Jeff. Good night to Noor, who says, don't say bye. Well, I have to, unfortunately, because it's 10 minutes from midnight. It's very late here. It is time for my beauty sleep. And all I can say is I need a lot of it. A lot of beauty sleep. See you on Sunday. Thank you, Belarusia. Thank you, Jeff. I hope you have enjoyed everything tonight. Thank you, Ima. Good night. Sweet dreams for everybody. Oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you very much for that. Thanks for your time. Thank you, Gretel. Thank you, Nua. It's time to go. It's time to say goodbye. Parting is such sweet sorrow that I shall say good night till it be morrow. This is Mr. Duncan in the birthplace of English saying thanks for watching me. talking to you live tonight. And of course, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do, because I always say it at the end of my live streams. Ta-ta for now.